how you think is the most important thing about you.
Now, once that you have found someone that has this fruit in their life, someone that you are considering to approach, I would encourage you to, your next step is simply take them out to coffee. Take them out and meet with them. Have lunch with them or something like that. Be sure to pay for it, all right? But take them out. And what you can do is a general informal interview. You don't have to set them down with a piece of paper and walk them through a list of questions, because that could be a little awkward. But you're just taking them out and you're starting out with, man, thank you so much for coming and having coffee with me. I just want you to know that I've been watching you for a period of time, and I've grown to really respect you and to respect the growth that's in your life and the way that you live. And number one, I just wanted to say thank you for being a good model. Thank you for being somebody that's in the community, that loves the Lord, and is actually a light in the midst of darkness. I just wanted to get together and encourage you and say thank you very much for that. And so after you have encouraged them, then you can move to the next level where you're simply asking them, and the fruit that I've seen in your life, that's something that I would really like to have in my life. And do you mind if I ask you a few questions just on how you got to where you are? How that happened, how that developed in your life? And if they say yes, all right, then you can continue. If they say, no, I don't want you to ask me any questions, all right, well, fantastic. How about the weather? You can kind of go there, kind of wrap things up, and that'll be it. But if they say, yeah, sure, go ahead and ask me some questions, which I have never had an example that I've heard of where someone has said, no, I don't want you to ask me any questions, all right? Never had that before. But if they say that, then you can kind of wrap it up and move on. But so if they say, sure, yeah, go ahead and hit me with some questions. The questions that you want to ask them are going to be questions in these 5 areas to help you know a little bit more about them. Okay? So first of all, you may talk about some of the fruit that you see in their life. Some of the joy or the happiness or the patience or the love. Or, man, I look at your family and the way that you run your family and I see the kids and everything. It just looks really good. How did you get there? How did you do that? Or you see a peace that's in their life, even in the midst of, man, I know you've been going through a lot of stuff here recently, but I've just seen you just walk through with so much confidence and so much peace. How did you get that? You're asking them questions about how did you get that fruit, specific fruit that you have seen in their life. Not random, vague fruit, but very specific things that you've seen in their life. All right, their ability to love. I've just watched the way that you have been leading the group that I've been a part of, and you just seem to have so much compassion and so much love. And how did you get that? How did that develop in your life? Okay, and that kind of builds a little bit into this understanding. Do they know how they got it? We'll get to that here in just a moment. But next of all, respect. This is just to encourage them. I've noticed that you have that people really look up to you. People really respect you. They respect your opinion. You have a certain position of respect in our church or in our community or in our state or in our country. All right, yes, it can go that big in our country or around the globe type of thing. You have a certain level of respect. How did you gain that? How did you get to that place? Ask them if they know. Again, it's all kind of bleeding into this understanding. Do they know how they got there? Because if they don't know how they got there, they're not going to be able to help you get there. Okay? And guys, I've had this happen 2 different times in my head right now. I can remember how this happened because it was 2 guys that I approached about being my mentor. And in the midst of doing this interview, yes, imagine that, I actually did these interviews myself. This is how I came up with it. Because I needed a mentor, but I didn't know exactly how to do it. So I said, well, I guess I'm gonna try to do something like this. So when I sat down with him, one gentleman who was nearing retirement, was in a very successful company, and he was at the very top, all right, very top echelon of leadership, extremely successful in business, and I was wanting to know how to be successful in business. How do I think? And I needed a mentor to do that. And I went and talked to him about it. I was going, man, how did you do this? And he kind of laughed and kind of scuffed a little bit and just went, Clay, I have no idea. Man, I'm just so blessed. The Lord has just really blessed me. It's just been wonderful. The Lord has just opened up doors for me and just kind of blessed me. And I have no idea how I got here. And it's like, okay, well, there you have it. How unfortunate that somebody that has lived that long and has moved through that much success and has grown to that level of leadership in the community and even around the globe didn't take the time to reflect and keep track of the path. So if he didn't know how he got there, he was not going to be able to help me get there. I remember another time where I went and talked with a guy, not to be my mentor, but I had several other people that were looking for mentors in his field and in his area. And I went and asked him, hey, would you be interested in being a mentor for these people? And again, he kind of laughed and goes, man, I'm still trying to figure it out for myself. I don't think I'd have anything to say to anybody else. It's like, oh, again, just unfortunate, okay? But you don't have to be that way because you are learning the steps. You are learning what it means to be developed personally. You are learning about what it means to have a mentor and be submitted to someone. So you're learning the path. And as you'll find out later on, the great secret here, or the great treasure here is that learning the path is going to be tremendous for you. But the great, great revelation that you're going to step into is that learning the path was never all about you. It was always about you learning the path so you could willingly turn around and help others navigate their path. All right? It's the kingdom principle. It's the kingdom of God. So, we're asking questions about respect, and then again, these two questions, if you ask them well, it will let you know if they have any kind of understanding. But if you're not there yet, you might want to ask them about personal development. Did you ever do any kind of personal development program, or what kind of books do you read? If I were to ask you about how to do personal development, how would you advise me? Do you have someone that you really like? Do you know of books or something like that? Just to see what type of understanding they have. And again, chances are really good to go, oh yeah, I've got a book that I'm reading right now that you would really love. But before you read that one, there's this one over here. This was the first one I read and it was awesome. You probably want to start there. And then there's another book you should read. And then you could read the one that I'm reading now. All of a sudden you're going, you get it. You understand that there's a path. You understand that there's a process that we go through. Does that make sense? So again, just basic questions. It's not like these probing things. You're just kind of asking, this is what I see in you. How did you get that? Where did that come from? Next of all, this intentionality. This is where you want to talk about, man, I notice that you are doing this in specific relationships. I notice that you are pursuing this specific person. Why are you doing that? Why is that important? Okay? Because again, they may go, well, I didn't know that I was doing that. I didn't mean to be doing that. It's like, oh, okay. But at the same time, they may say, oh, yeah, I can tell you exactly why I'm leading this small group at church. Or I can tell you exactly why I have invited these people to come and live in our home. Or I can tell you exactly why I've chosen to have this ministry or be a part of this group. Or I can tell you exactly why I'm doing this with this group of employees in our company. Because they have an intentionality and they understand that intentionality is very important. And then finally, this question on time is just, man, is your life really crazy right now? It just seems like you've got so many things happening. Is your life just really packed right now? And if they go, oh man, my life is crazy. It's just so full. I don't have time for anything. Then that just lets you know that might not be the best person. Okay? Or they may come back and say, I'm busy, but I have time in my schedule. And just ask them some general questions, some that you can come up with. Again, another question here on time is, is your weekly schedule just packed? Do you ever get together with anybody on a consistent basis? Do you have friends or someone that you get together and do coffee with in the morning or do breakfast with once a week or once a month? Have you ever done that before? And what does that look like? Do you ever spend time with people? And if they go, yeah, I do, and I love doing that, then all of a sudden, okay, this person is open to creating some space in their schedule to spend time with me. And again, you haven't asked them to be a mentor yet, all right? You've just asked them about their life. So at any point, if this doesn't really resonate with you, if something really doesn't fit with you, then you just don't ask them. It's not that they failed and they're losers. You just don't ask them. as opposed to at the very first coming in, I wanted to have coffee with you today because I'd like for you to be a mentor for me. So, let's talk a little bit about fruit. Oh, you don't have any. Oh, you don't have. Oh, you don't understand anything. Oh, you're not intentional. You don't have any time. Okay, well, I'm not going to ask you. Okay, now it's awkward. All right? So you want to do this. You want to prepare them for the ask before you actually ask. All right? You're going to ask about the ask, if that makes sense. Okay, does that help out? Hopefully this will help you kind of do a short little interview. And at the end of this time, even if you don't ask them, hey, you spent a nice time spending some time talking to somebody, all right? And you've bought them coffee and you've built that relationship a little bit more. And you may do it later on in the future, okay? But if you get through this interview and you find out that down here at the end that everything seems to be going really well and it all fits and, hey, I think I really do want to ask this person, you might want to lead with, have you ever mentored anyone? Have you ever intentionally spent time with someone over a good period of time, a year or so, and taught them and trained them? Have you ever done that? Well, no, I haven't. Oh, really? Well, have you ever been interested in doing that? No, I haven't ever been interested in doing that. It's like, oh, okay. How about those cowboys? Again, you're just kind of changing the subject and going someplace else. But if they say, yeah, I have done that before. Oh, really? What was that like? And ask them about their experiences in being a mentor if they've done it before. Because it's possible, and I've talked to people that have had this experience before, it's possible that they did it before, but it was a very negative experience for them. So they're really not interested in doing it again. So I think it's healthier, I think it's good to ask, what was that experience like for you? Was it good or was it a negative thing? Oh, it was a negative thing. Really? What made that thing negative? Oh, well, this person never showed up, or this person ended up stabbing me in the back, or this person ended up stealing from me, this person ended up, they never did anything, or something like that. Well, I was interested in asking you to be a mentor of mine, but I can see that you've had a hard experience in the past. What if we kind of set this thing up where there were certain requirements for me to make sure that I hit those things so it's not frustrating for you? Would you be willing to mentor me? Would you be willing to teach me? Because I see fruit in your life that I would like to have in my life. I see fruit in your life that I know that if I could plant those seeds in my life, then eventually over time, they would produce the same fruit in my life. And I would love for that to be a part of my life and a part of my future. Would you be willing to do that for me? Does that make sense? So again, I'm kind of tossing several possibilities, several questions, several possibilities out there for you to use when you are interviewing these people. Okay, so you just ask them about their experience, if they've ever done it before. If it was a very positive experience, are you doing it right now? It's like, I haven't done it in a while. Well, would you be interested in it? I would. I really miss doing that. It'd be great. You can begin setting it up from there. Okay? So hopefully that'll give you some practical steps on how to pursue, just very practically, how to pursue a potential person to be a mentor for you.
How you think is the most important thing about you.